Hi, welcome to Kiwanitalk. We're a public information show put together by the people from the Dearborn Kiwanis Club with help from faculty and students from Dearborn High School who help us with the cameras and all the background stuff we do. My name is Gary Gardner. Welcome to the program. Welcome to my alma mater, Dearborn High. I was here not as long as one of the guys who works with us. He's 55 years ago, but I was here right after the Earth's crust finished cooling. So we've got some other people here talking about the Dearborn Symphony, their big fundraiser coming up, the Dearborn Homes Tour. And to help us talk about this, we have Ann Witkowski and John Matthews. Welcome to the program.
Oh, good.
Great to have you here. Now, Dearborn has a lot of things going on, but they've got people from Dearborn. And Ann, talk us about you. You were born and raised in Dearborn?
Yeah, I grew up in Dearborn, been here all my life. Good old product of Dearborn Public Schools. In fact, Dearborn High as well.
Okay, well, that's, it's kind of weird being back here. Sometimes it is. So don't worry, Mr. McLennan, who was the Dean of Discipline when I was there, he's been long gone, so I'm not too worried. So what do you do now?
I'm a substitute teacher within Dearborn Public Schools, and I'm in school for education.
Be education. It's a good. You know what the best three things about teaching are? June, July, and August.
Yeah.
There you go. How about you, John? Did you grow up in this area?
Yeah, I grew up in Dearborn. Unlike you two, alumni here of Dearborn High, I went to Etzel Ford.
And for those who are outside of Dearborn, there is the University of Michigan State rivalry between Etzel Ford and Dearborn High.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll forgive him for being a Thunder chicken.
That's right. There you go. So you grew up in Dearborn and went to school here, and what do you do now?
I'm a designer at Fiat Chrysler. I'm in charge of interior components, mainly the cluster. It's the speedometer, odometer area of the car. That appearance, I'm in charge of appearance for that part corporate wide.
Okay, so you've got very good. So everybody looks at the dashboard, they can see your reflection.
That's right. If you drive a Chrysler, you've seen my work. Yeah.
We're talking about the Symphony, though. Okay, and I think wrongly, until I went to one once, had this vision that a symphony is this place for very snooty people who don't understand what's going on, but we don't like you because you're not wearing your tuxedo tonight.
Yeah.
That's wrong?
No, that's completely wrong. The Dearborn Symphony it's really, we have people, there are still people who like to dress up. It's a special evening for them, and then there are people that they'll come in blue jeans, and it's gotten to be a lot more casual. It's a lot more friendly. We like to think that some of our repertoire is sort of relaxed a little more. We're trying to do music that appeals to a bigger audience now.
And how about you, Ann? How much involvement did you have with the Symphony before you got onto the board of the Friends of the Symphony?
Not much in terms of going, just due to lack of time. I'd go with my parents. Right. But because of my parents, I was always exposed to classical music or symphonic music and all types of music. And being a product of just music education in general, the symphony and keeping that alive is very important to me, which is why I got involved with Friends.
Okay, so we're talking about symphony, but what is a symphony? I have an idea, people have an idea, but what really is versus a trio or a rock band? What's a symphony? How can you sort of classify it or define it?
Well, it's a style of music. It has a set, a beginning, a middle, an end. It usually, many times, a symphony tells a story. It sets an emotion, which is what I love about symphonic music, is that a lot of the times it's about emotion. It's a universal feelings. It doesn't rely on words to express ideas.
It tells a story using the notes and the music, much like any other type of music. There's just not necessarily lyrics to go with it.
I'm just thinking in my head, like the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand was 2 minutes and 30 seconds, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida can go up to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But a symphony is is it different parts to it? And the music
Oh, yes.
changes, but
Yes,
it's all
there is.
sort of linked together. How does that linkage work?
That linkage, well, there's the beginning and the introduction. There's a body, and then there's a separate end that ties everything together, and it usually brings that whole idea to a crescendo.
So, and how much time are we spending talking about? Hours, days, weeks, months, sitting in the
No,
ensemble?
You know, we've 20 minutes.
Okay.
You know.
So it's a long enough time. It's In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida-esque.
Yes.
So,
Well, and to say what is a symphony, and what we will do a lot of the time is we'll take the best parts of symphonies, group them into a linked theme, and that will become a theme for the evening. So you don't always sit down to a full kind of Beethoven evening. You sit down to linked themes. It creates a more interesting program.
and I kind of get that you were involved in music. Do you have a talent and
A little bit. I'm an amateur singer. I was part of the choir in high school and kind of all throughout growing up. And I do like to sing, but that all starts with the classical music, with the symphony music, because everything grew from there, in my opinion, and how I can hear different movements in different areas and think about a different song that I like.
You've got to remember that probably Beethoven, Mozart, they were kind of the Beatles or the Rolling Stones of their period. This was, some of this is hot music. It's great to listen to. Don't get the idea that you're going to come to the symphony and sit and be played at. It's music that we hope is inspiring and uplifting, and you leave the concert taking something away.
it comes to mind, and I don't listen to a lot of symphonic music, but the 1812 Overture.
Mm-hmm.
So that
very emotional.
That has
Yeah.
If you listen to I've listened to it on. I just had a bug in my mind one day, and I turned it on YouTube and listened to it, and it started out very slow, and it builds up, and then it has this tremendous. You can feel the whole spirit of the music.
Mm-hmm.
I can just picture in my mind people in the time when this first came out, and says, "Wow, this is really." There wasn't TV, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't. This was the main form of entertainment on a really high level in those days.
Oh, sure it is. And you just said, you just brought up a piece that's very familiar to a lot of people.
For those who don't know, it's the serial that's shot from guns is da da da
Yes.
da 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 da.
And of course, that's when we talk about there is a beginning.
Right.
There's kind of a pastoral. There's a story, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and then there's a crescendo, the end, the guns, on that piece, that on that level, that's a piece that people can relate to because everybody's heard it. And if you've gone to the fireworks at Ford Field or at Greenfield Village, you've heard the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was just
So,
going to say, that's the
yeah.
backdrop for most 4th of July firework
Yeah.
Right.
performances.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, and again, I have not been to a lot of symphonies, but the feeling of the music in the auditorium, because if you listen to it on your transistor radio, there's no even if you put your headphones on, but being in a facility, and Dearborn has a nice facility,
Yes.
but you can hear the little squeaks of the bows on that, and it's a different kind of feeling. Talk about that part of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gary, you mentioned something that, that we say in the symphony. It's printed in a lot of our material. there's no substitute for live. There is no substitute for live. And living now, you turn the radio on, you turn a television on, you know, there's music, there's sound. You've got to remember that when there was a time, most of the history of the human race, there was no radio or television, or, you know, music was not that accessible. It was church or for the very wealthy, and live was the only way it was performed. And I have to tell you, when I sit in the audience, I'm always amazed that you can stroke horsehair, and it's a violin. It makes that beautiful sound, and it's you've got maybe 60 people on the floor, all making their separate sounds, and it comes together and becomes this beautiful, beautiful music.
And you can see the concentration of the musicians as they're getting to an intense part. You can see really just their emotion to play the music and their love for playing the music. You see that and you hear it all at the same time, which you don't always necessarily get if it's not live.
It's like the roar of the grease paint and the smell of the crowd type thing. All at once, but that's the backward analogy. But again, when you see it too, you see sometimes the guy with the triangle. He's just waiting for his thing, and not everybody's playing all the time. And it's amazing how it all comes together.
Oh, yeah. There's a theatrical quality about it.
Yeah, and talk about all the different instruments, and how you mentioned 60 members to this orchestra. And that's a lot of people to coordinate.
At least there's sometimes more, you know. And
how does that all come together? How do you control all that, and how do you figure out how to put it together?
Well, we have an artistic board. I know Sandy Butler, our president, is very involved with that. She's very good at relationships in the community and with musicians. As a matter of fact, as we're speaking now, we have a rehearsal going on at the Ford Community Arts Center, and for our upcoming concert this Friday. And I know she's there. There are members from our board that are there.
Members from my board as well.
Yes, we're very involved with the musicians. I think we have a great reach. I think that our orchestra has the pull. We have the power, and this is really a testament to our community here in Dearborn, our commitment to the arts, that there are musicians that want to play with the Dearborn Symphony, because the music and the other players are of such a high level that it's kind of an honor to be asked to play with us, and that's how we pull it together. It's a lot of work, a lot of fundraising, a lot of commitment, and a really, really good reputation.
And I think the thing is, if you have a good base to start from, or a high model, you as the performer try to aspire to have that higher level of your own performance. Everybody brings everybody else up.
Oh, exactly. And I think that, like I said, we have people that play with the Detroit Symphony that play with us, you know, on a high professional level. We have the most gifted students from U of M Ann Arbor, from Wayne State, from Michigan State. They come in and they'll play with us. We have a lot of very gifted people, and we have and the idea that you're pulling people up, translates into the Youth Symphony. And when we have our side-by-side concert with the Youth Symphony, I love that concert. It's my favorite concert, where the student sits with the adult, the mentor, the professional musician. I'm awestruck by the sound when you get that many people playing that many instruments in one room, it is just it's an experience.
It's a visceral sort of thing.
Yes,
because you
it
can,
is.
You can
It is.
feel
You
the
feel
power
it.
of
Yes,
the music that's
yes,
going on
you
there.
do.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to continue our conversation with Ann Witkowski and John Matthews about the Dearborn Symphony Orchestra, because all this comes at a cost, and they've got a really cool fundraiser, the way that you can help support the Dearborn Symphony through the Friends of the Dearborn Symphony. Right after we come back with these words about Kiwanis. Don't go away.
There's never been a better time in our history to be a member of Kiwanis. The impact that we can make is at an all-time high, but we need more members so that we can reach our potential. You can help and lead by example. Invite your family, friends, and coworkers to your club meetings and service projects. Tell them about our service leadership programs. Ask them if they want to improve the community. How can anyone say no? We need to step it up and focus on what needs to be done with our membership, because kids need Kiwanis today.
Welcome back to Kiwanitalk. I'm your host, Gary Gardner. We're continuing our discussion about the Dearborn Symphony. Not as highbrow as you like, because it really is a lot of fun to go and to see and to feel. And we're talking with Ann Witkowski, John Matthews, who are the recording secretary for the Friends of the Dearborn Symphony Orchestra. Yeah. John Matthews, who is the vice president of the Dearborn Symphony Orchestra. And you mentioned players from the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. These people, and they're not all volunteers. There is a price to pay for this, plus the facility. Talk about the cost of a performance, John.
Okay, well, the cost of the performance, I mean, I'm going to say our average performance is around $30,000. That's per performance. Now, you can imagine we are blessed in Dearborn. We are probably the last community orchestra in the state of Michigan who does a full season. That's really a testament to our community and the commitment of the people that come to the symphony and give money, and to the people that volunteer. We're an all-volunteer organization. It's a lot of money to raise. We work very diligently at it, and of course, tonight I think we're going to talk about the home tour, which is our largest.
What is the season? How many performances would there be in the season over the year?
We do 5 to 6 concerts. Starts in the fall, runs through May. Yeah, April, May. And it's not quite one a month, but
it's
close.
Significant.
Yeah.
And how many performances would there be of the one symphony? Would it be 1, 2,
oh,
3?
no, it's one.
One time.
One
and done.
performance. They're always on Fridays, 8 o'clock at the Ford Community Arts.
And that's right on Michigan Avenue near Greenfield.
Greenfield.
Just east of Southfield. It's a magnificent facility.
Yes,
too.
it is. And well, that's another very lucky thing that we have a facility like that in Dearborn.
Yeah, it's a beautiful theater.
Right. But the cost comes, you get charged to come in the door, and if you charge people the full freight to come in the door, it would be cost prohibitive to come in.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we try to keep it affordable, because we feel we have a mission to the community. And I have to say, we get a generous break, but we pay for that facility. We rent that facility. And I think that when people sit down at a concert, they don't understand that we usually have a out-of-town artist come. We pay for that plane fare. We put them up. We're blessed that the Dearborn Inn has gives us that room. They donate that, but there's a price tag attached to that, and not everyone that comes is inexpensive. I mean, we try to get a guest performer that is relevant, that people want to see, that they want to hear. And usually we try to get them on the trajectory of their career, because we've had many young people come and play as featured, like a violinist or a cellist or a pianist. And 5 years down the road, we cannot afford to have them back because they're on an international circuit.
But the cost right now, though, is supported again by the Friends of the Dearborn Symphony. And what is the home tour, and how does that work in?
So the Dearborn Symphony Home Tour is a combined fundraising effort between Friends of the Dearborn Symphony and the Dearborn Symphony. So our boards work together to choose a neighborhood in the Dearborn area or Dearborn Heights. Typically, the last couple of years, it's been in the Dearborn area. And this year, it is in the beautiful area of Gulfview Oaks. Gulfview Oaks.
That's right.
Which is on just west of Gulfview by the Dearborn Country
Yes,
Club,
by the
Yeah.
Dearborn
south
Country
of Ford
Club.
Road,
Yeah.
and east of Outer Drive,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
triangle area there.
Yes.
And Dearborn has some beautiful houses.
Oh, yeah.
Some magnificent houses.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is the people get to, you always want to, I wonder what's inside this house. Can I look in the windows? But
yeah.
you
And
actually
we
get to
give
go
you
inside.
that opportunity.
What's that like?
It's really interesting, especially for me, who me personally. The experience is that I'm in my late 20s, and there'll be a time where I will move out of mom and dad's house and be looking to decorate my own. And a lot of these homes have classic, lasting styles, or kitchens that are magnificent if you like to cook, or just different things that have these historical homes and a modern twist on the inside.
And you get to go through them, and there's docents in the house, which is a person who tells you what's going on. Talk about that
Sure.
part of it.
So we look for volunteers. That's a big part of what Friends does, is try and get the volunteers of the docents, because walking through the house, you're not going to know what a significant reason is for a painting, or the reason they did the kitchen one way instead of another way. And that's where the docents come in, and they speak with the homeowners ahead of time and find this out, and get to give you a little bit more information than what might be in the write-up of our books that we pass out when you go on the tour.
And when is this going to be in 2019?
So coming up is May 18th, 2019. It is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
5, that's correct.
And all day. The cost prior to the event is $20. Correct me if I'm wrong, John.
Yeah, that's
yes,
all right.
$20, and then the day of is $25.
And where can you go? Where can one go to find out information about this?
Oh, well, you can go to the Dearborn Symphony Orchestra website.
You can Google that up, and we'll have that on the
and,
screen here. Yeah.
and
Also
easily,
Friends of the Dearborn Symphony
yeah,
as
if you
well.
can't remember the Google, or I mean the website address, you can Google it. It comes up immediately. But I can give you, we have ticket, we have businesses that are selling tickets all over the city. If you go on the website, there'll be a list of.
And you get a lot of community support. This is all community-based,
yes.
community support, and so you want to have that information made available to you. So, is there a bus? How do you get from place to place? How do you know where to go? How do you get your tickets?
Well, it's you can walk or you can drive your own car from house to house. We typically try and make it so everything is within walking distance. We also understand that's not necessarily easy for everybody, so you do have the option to drive from house to house or from street to street if you so wish. And then check-in is at the Dearborn Country Club this year.
Dearborn Country Club will be check-in.
And that's right at the corner of the 5 Outer Drive, Gulfview, and Military Streets in Dearborn.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's a nice landmark
So-
right there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we
so-
also hold a craft show as well.
Yeah,
Sorry for
so
interrupting.
I was going to say that at the Dearborn Country Club we're planning at 9 o'clock. We're going to have a designer talk, and then high-profile interior designer from the area will give a 1-hour talk. There will be another charge for that, but if you want to come at 9, that will be available. And also, we're going to do our traditional lunch. We're going back to, I said probably out of what, the 35 years? I think it's on our poster here.
Been a bunch.
Yeah, it's like in over 30 years we've done this. Most of the years we've had the luncheon at the Dearborn Country Club, and it's the classic Hudson's Maury's salad, which it's like a signature.
It's a great salad there,
dish
yeah.
for them. That'll be a ticket outlet. We'll have another on-site ticket outlet for people that maybe live in the neighborhood that are going to walk over, buy a ticket, and go to the homes that day. So you can buy pre-sale tickets or country club or at the site.
We're down to our last 2 minutes. So
Okay.
You've been on some of these tours?
I've been on many
What's it
of
like
these
going
tours.
inside these houses?
Oh, it's great, and I can tell you what, this tour is going to be a great home tour.
Because?
Because of course I'm chairing it with with Linda Freitag and I are co-chairing this, and I can tell you my home is on the tour. It's a home that Henry Ford built for Dr. Hood, who was the first headmaster of the Greenfield Village School when it opened in 1929. We have a beautiful newer home, just gorgeous, probably about 5,000 square feet, beautiful French interior. Yeah, it's a real stunner. We have a couple mid-century modern homes, which are especially appealing to younger people. We have a home that has all arts and crafts furniture, very beautifully detailed, stunning woodwork and furniture and antiques.
You get to go inside and see them all and be part of the house and
Yes,
the whole thing,
yes,
and
you
know
do,
what's
and-
going on behind it.
And in each home, there'll be a live music. And of course, the docents will talk about art and furniture and maybe a little bit about what these people are like and why they have done their homes this way. And overall it's a great experience.
Yeah, and it's just like you said before, it's the way you get to see these houses that you wonder what they look like on the inside.
It's May 18th, 2019.
That's right.
9 o'clock if you want to go to the special expo over at Dearborn Country Club, 10 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So we got to go.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to go too.
Of
Thank you
course
very
we
much,
do.
Ann Witkowski. Thank you, John
Okay.
Matthews. Thank you for watching Kiwanitalk. Get out there, Dearborn Symphony Orchestra, Google it, Friends of Dearborn Symphony, get your tickets and be there. See you later.